Welcome to News Talk with Simoni Vani at the International News Channel. Following up on yesterday's show, today we continue to talk about the upcoming global conference, Dismantling Global Hindutva. Those organizing the conference are saying they are invested in examining the Hindutva ideology that propagates hate, promotes Islamophobia, and seeks to reduce the myriad practices of Hinduism to a singular notion of a Hindu motherland. But those arguing against the conference say it will do nothing more than lead to Hinduphobia. The South Asian Scholar Activist Collective, in an attempt to debunk the idea, has described the term Hinduphobia as a distraction in the West to silence critiques of casteism, Islamophobia, sexism, anti-Semitism, racism, and other forms of supremacist ideologies at the heart of Hindutva. The three-day conference is set to host a variety of speakers from various academic and professional backgrounds. While some speakers are named publicly, many are staying anonymous in fear for their lives. I wonder why. The organizers are also saying that the attacks on the events are full of distortions and lies designed to make a conference critiquing a supremacist ideology into one attacking the Hindu faith. To discuss this controversial conference, we are joined today by Ram Subramanian and Gaurav Sharma. Thank you for agreeing to speak to me, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
I guess my first question to you guys would be, what does Hindutva mean to you?
Hindutva, the root of the word, comes from two separate terms, Hindu and Tattva, which makes it Hindutva, which means the essence of Hinduism, which means the identity of a Hindu, which means the collection of all the tenets and principles of Hinduism. The term Hindutva is the twa at the end, when added to a word, makes a meaning of the word that constitutes the essence of Mahatva, Gurutva, Astitva, likewise Hindutva. Hindutva is our core, our identity, and our existence. That's what Hindutva means to the more than 1 billion Hindus across the world.
No, absolutely well said. What about you, Gauravji?
How I see Hindutva means being Hindu, that is my identity. It means that I need to follow my dharma. That is the essence of Hinduism, of Hindu culture and tradition. Now, in a nutshell, this is how I would define Hindutva. Now, the organizers of this conference, they are trying to deliberately create a divide between Hinduism and Hindutva. So anybody who is not conforming to their ideology or their understanding of Hindu customs and tradition, is a bigot. So that is where the problem starts. That's how I would, that would be my starting comment on this.
No, that's fantastic. So I guess then moving on, what was your reaction when you guys heard about the conference itself, that this is happening?
It's very shocking. But before we go there, just to reiterate what Gaurav just said, the organizers have twisted the meaning of Hindutva to suit their agenda.
Yeah.
And this message must go out there. The reason why this is bothersome is because, as Gaurav just mentioned, they are saying that that Hindus who do not conform to this twisted version of Hindutva must be dismantled. So, coming to your question, the very word dismantling global Hindutva, dismantling, it's very shocking.
My first reaction to this, when I heard about this conference, was I was not at all shocked.
Wow.
I think I was not shocked because the moment I got to know about this conference, I knew that anti-Hindu forces have joined hands in their nefarious agenda, and their only objective is to throw muck at Hindus and Hindu customs and traditions. Now, if we look at when this, the chronology of events in the past 2-3 weeks, you see Taliban has taken over, Afghanistan. There are absolutely no religious minorities left in that country, in that God-forsaken country.
Yeah.
And here comes a narrative which says that you don't have to worry about Taliban, you don't have to worry about ISIS. Right now you have to dismantle Hindutva. So that entire psychology of creating a separate narrative or a different narrative to shift the focus of the entire world in a different direction is the main objective of this conference. So I was looking at the events which were happening around us. I mean, we are in a global village now, and I was not at all shocked. The only thing which is shocking right now is the universities are promoting and they are propagating and they are supporting this, anti-Hindu conference. That's my only, concern.
No, fair enough. I guess I kind of want to agree with both of you at some point. But going back to what you said about how the conference and those organizers have changed the definition of Hindutva to suit their agenda. So in a letter on the conference's official website, Hindutva is described as an authoritarian political ideology that historically drew inspiration from Nazi Germany and Mussolini's Italy. So I know we kind of heard about what you think about that, but if you were to compare it to something like Hitler or Mussolini, what do you think about that?
I will come to that question in a moment. But I want you to know that Gaurav and I concur on the response to Hindutva. It's shocking that they would use Hindutva as a pretext, as a distractionary measure to the events that are unfolding in another part of the world. So this itself tells you the underlying agenda. Coming to your question now, this was about what the organizers say, what they think of Hindutva. The very use of the term political is evident, the angle from which these people are coming. They are using Hindutva as a pretext to launch attacks that align with their vested political agenda and narrow ideology.
I would like to add here one more thing. Now you look at the events, right? So the essentially speaking, it's a common worldview right now that US has debacled in Afghanistan, and this conference is trying to portray a different image to the world. Now you said that they are trying to compare the term Hindutva with Hitler or
Mussolini.
Mussolini. They have been doing that. This is not the first time. If you look and you study the old journals and history, they have created a divide by saying that, I'll just use a simple example. They used the term swastika for Hitler's Hakenkreuz. Why did they do that? Because they somehow wanted to relate everything to Hindutva, whereas essentially at no place in the Hitler's scriptures or books he has talked about swastika. He's always said that this is, they were using it as a hooked cross. So this attempt to intentionally associate Hindutva with Hitler's ideology or Mussolini or extremist ideologies is absolutely absurd. They are absolutely agenda driven. There's no connection between both these ideologies.
So coming back, or like taking a step back a bit, how do you think that these kind of conferences affect young Hindus or their minds or their mindset about Hindutva, that being children, infants, or even young adults for that matter?
It's natural that there will be a perceptible fear about the impression such kind of agenda will have on Hindu minds, especially when it's sponsored by universities in our own cities where our Hindu children go for studies or are employed or are alumni. We are engineers, doctors, PhDs, employees of the university. So we tend to think that this will have an impression on impressionable minds of children.
Yeah.
But I have an optimistic and very strongly convinced view on this, which is this is not going to affect Hindus.
Okay.
We are steeped in our faith.
Yeah.
We learn faith at home. We have institutions that teach us faith. What is disturbing is the influence such Hindu-phobic, hate-mongering conferences have on the rest of the population. That is very worrisome. How such Hindu-phobic events instigate others to hate, discriminate, and even harm Hindus in the Canadian society is worrisome, and that's why this has to be firmly dealt with.
No, absolutely.
I would partially disagree with Rambhai here.
Of course.
What I see is that this conference would have dire consequences on young minds studying at the universities. They would be ridiculed, they would be made fun of in their friend circle if they do not conform to their professors' idea of Hindutva. They would not be able to wear their insignia. They're not able to carry their their customs on their sleeves. They're not able to participate. If they try to do that, they would be, they might have some consequences. Let's say they are part of South Asian studies and they disagree with what is being taught. There is not a common dialogue. There is no dialogue actually. It's a one-way traffic. So this is going to impact the young minds, and it not only is limited to that fact. The families, the siblings, the immediate people around that person also get impacted.
Yeah.
So this conference will have a long-term impact on the students, because you are pressurizing the student to conforming to something which he or she is not aligned with.
Yeah.
So I think this would have very, very dire consequences, and I think that is the reason the promotion of this conference by the universities should be stopped. We don't care. Number of individuals can talk about Hindutva. They can have their own definition, but all we want is that the universities should, take a step back and do not get officially involved in this conference.
Yeah.
It is being a Hindu. It is the Hindutva in our Canadian people, our Canadian students in our universities, that urges them to wear a sari, a salwar kurti, have a bindi, and wear a dhoti or a kurta.
Yeah.
We as a Canadian society, we accept when girls wear hijab.
Yeah.
They are a part of our society.
Absolutely.
Imagine if somebody is going to take aim at Hindutva, how are they going to deal with people that are wearing saris and such Hindutva garb, Hindutva dress to the institutions?
Yeah.
In fact, I would go ahead and call this as intellectual terrorism or intellectual genocide, where I'm not allowed to wear my identity.
Correct.
You are making Hindus who are ashamed of their own identity, customs, and culture and tradition. So this is where the the problem lies.
So you guys are talking about what you think will be the consequences of this. What are problems or challenges that the Hindu community faces as of today, according to you?
The challenge is a direct threat to the Hindus, and that is very imminent. It's critical, it's alarming, it's criminal, and we must face it. Why? It puts the Hindu public in Canada directly at physical risk. It poses harm to them. It instigates violence and hate towards them. That is the immediate concern of the Hindu society here in Canada.
I want to begin answering this question by asking a question here, right?
Yeah.
How many mainstream media channels have covered this story? Absolutely none.
None that I know.
Right. Their narrative is very strong. They want to, whenever Hindus are usually in a problem as a community, nobody's talking about that. I mean, I don't know of any mainstream news website or media channel talking about it, whether it's in the US or in Canada. So there are concerns within this community. We want to talk about this, but there's no one to listen to that. Our history is being projected as mythology, as it never happened.
Never happened, yeah.
In the universities, our gods are made fun of. Our idols are, and this is happening when our idols are broken, our temples are vandalized in Pakistan and in Afghanistan. No media is talking about it. Why? So, and we are living in a diverse community. We are living in the first world, and we are living in Canada. I think as a community, we should expect that somebody addresses these issues. So there are many challenges which Hindus face at this moment in Canada.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that we agree that it is a very biased conference. So do you think that these kind of biased conferences kind of add additional fuel to challenges that the Hindu community already faces, but also in how they are trying to kind of spread hate towards Hindus?
So this is certainly an attempt to spread hate against Hindus. There is no question about it. But look at the statistics on hate crime.
Yeah.
Over the past couple of years, hate crime has only been increasing in Canada.
Yeah.
So, under these circumstances, is it required to have a conference that promotes hate and violence? That aside, as a pluralistic, multicultural society, Canada is founded on inclusion, on diversity, as Gaurav was mentioning.
Yeah, absolutely.
This conference flies at the face of those very principles that we stand on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think isn't it questionable that the universities are using the taxpayer money to propagate an agenda which is anti-Hindu, which is Hindu community in Canada as well as US, and I think everywhere. They are one of the peaceful communities. There are, you won't, almost negligible in crime. We are like Rambai said, we are everywhere. We are in the you'll find in us in politics, medicine, and you would find in information technologies, media.
Correct.
Everywhere.
Social
service.
There's no sector that a Hindu hasn't touched. No,
hasn't touched.
Absolutely.
However, we are using the taxpayer money to propagate hate against us. What's the reason behind that?
Show me one singular incident where a Hindu in the US or Canada has committed a crime driven by faith.
Yeah.
Show me one instance.
Yeah.
If you cannot, you will have to justify why you are conducting this event.
Yeah. No.
And
No, sir.
why? Why our own universities are sponsoring this
Yeah.
event.
Yeah, no. I kind of want to talk to the audience a bit too, that Hindus have a proven track record of being the most ideal citizens in any country. Here at home, they have the highest educational degrees, biggest businesses, and close to no criminal cases. So despite all this success, why do you think that Hindus are unable to speak up against all kinds of Hindu phobia within the academics or even within the community for that matter?
I do not think that is a fair statement.
Okay.
Hindu students councils have voiced their concerns,
Okay.
and they are not happy about what is happening. There are many interviews out there. So the Hindu students, in unison with the society, are up and against these Hindu-phobic events. Without a question, Hindu students are opposed to this.
Okay. So then I guess, do you agree?
So my take on this is that the Hindu students, and for this just for this conference as well, it's not the first time this is happening. Maybe because of social media and and other media channels, we are getting these reports, and you see kind of an uprising within the Hindu community. But that has been the case, I think, for the last at least 2 to 3 decades. We can say that, and hence I would think that there's an important need to talk about this topic of Hindu phobia. I remember that I think it was a couple of weeks back when I spoke at your channel, and I said that we need to have a national summit on Hindu phobia.
Correct.
This conference and many conferences, I'm sure this would not end at this one, would institutionalize the Hindu hatred within academia. The young minds would definitely get impacted. You are legitimizing the perspective of only one section of academia who is known to have a anti-Hindu stance ever since they have been in their existence. So definitely there is a need to speak about it more and more.
Yeah.
And we need to talk, I think it's time we take this to a next level. We go to our political class as well.
Yeah, yeah. I guess then my question also would be that if you think that, well, you want to say that everyone is voicing their concerns, why do you think they're not being heard then?
So the first thing that we must recognize is Hindu phobia has always been there. It's been simmering. There has been things happening under the covers, attacks on Hindus, bullying Hindus. These things have been going on for a while. But this seems to be the first effort brazenly, openly being conducted with the help of universities that tends to dismantle Hindutva.
Yeah.
It comes with a very dangerous title.
Yeah, it does.
Right? So it is time for us to voice our concerns now, and we will be heard. There isn't a question about it. There are people, there is leadership that's spoken in support of us. There are our law agencies that will stand beside us. They have assured us that they will not allow any harm to come to us. So it's not like our voice is not being heard. But I will tell you one thing. I'm a die-hard optimist about Sanatana Dharma. And I look forward to things, I look forward to with hope. The one thing that this conference has done is just what you're saying now. It has risen a giant that did not think it was necessary to act in a concerted manner.
Yeah.
This is our opportunity to stand up as one force,
Yeah.
flex our muscles, and show them that if you raise up against us, we will kick ass.
Yeah. I think the Hindi term for that is hum kisi se kam nahi. I think, yeah, absolutely. I hear you guys. So coming to the academic part of this whole situation, I know a lot of universities are organizers. So if you could change something about the current higher education system that is teaching, or part of the South Asian department at least, that is teaching about Hinduism, what is it that you would change? What would you want students to be learning? People who are not already Hindus to be learning about Hinduism.
Would you like to take that?
Okay, sure.
And then I will after.
No, please, yeah.
I think the learning not begins at the university level. We need to go at the school level. At I give you an example.
Yeah.
I think I got a report from Alberta that Hinduism is being taught at grade 5 level, whereas Islam, Christianity, Judaism and Sikhism is being taught to children starting grade 2. So this is one of our concerns. Why are we not talking, why can't we take this to the basic level,
Yeah.
like from the beginning?
Yeah.
And it is not only going to be a question of just going to the school level. This is going to be a big project. What to teach to those kids? And of course, we would like. I mean, generally speaking, I might not be the expert on that, but I would say teach about Bhagavad Gita. Remove Aryan invasion theory, which gives kind of support to the fact that Aryans were some other race and they invaded the Indian subcontinent, and then they it kind of puts a stamp on the invasion by the Mughals and Britishers later on. I would like to get rid of that. Talk about the Indian sages, this old scientists. Talk about Ayurveda. Talk about plastic surgeon. The first plastic surgeon of the world was Sushruta. So things like that could be included in the curriculum right from the beginning at school. Now, of course, at the South Asian studies in the universities, this would take a bigger role. We'll talk about the history of India, what has been the contribution of the Hindu community
That's right.
to the world.
Yeah.
We'll talk about other than the fact that the zero was invented by Aryabhat.
Yeah.
We have to go back and talk about all those things.
Yeah.
And that is and all the myths which are roaming around in the academia and media about Hindus. That I think, and that is why I say I press on that point that we need to have a national summit on Hindu phobia. Recently, I think the government of Canada they've issued hundreds of thousands of dollars for fighting Islamophobia in school,
Yeah, right.
which is fair enough.
Fair enough.
But we need our own set of funds to educate people on Hinduism as well.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Ram?
This is a very important question you asked, so you're going to give me 3 minutes.
No, please.
The first thing we need to understand, a very basic thing is Christianity has the Bible, one book,
One book.
and Islam has
The Quran.
the Holy Quran.
Yes.
Hindus
We
have 6 major schools of philosophy.
We have a lot. Absolutely.
We have one school of philosophy that believes in duality,
Yes.
another school that believes in non-duality.
Yep.
And everything works well within our system.
Yeah.
Here is what is happening. Hinduism being a free religion, we will not issue a fatwa on somebody that tries to interpret Hinduism and goes wrong.
Yeah.
What that has led to is every person, every school of South Asian studies seems to install its own so-called expert that brings her or his own interpretation of the dharma. So, in the higher studies level, we need to make sure that we engage with authentic, established institutions to deliver the right interpretation of the Dharma,
Yeah.
not just to Hindus, to even non-Hindus.
Yes.
What does that entail? It entails engaging with institutions like Ramakrishna Mission, like Divine Life Society,
Yeah.
like Chinmaya Mission.
Mm-hmm.
These are the missions that are trained, they are authentic, and they can guide our schools of higher studies. At an elementary level, we are doing something that is of significance in the Canadian society, and it is going to have an effect for time immemorial. We have established a Canadian federal not-for-profit called the Canada Hindu Schools, which will soon become a registered charity.
Mm-hmm.
We will teach provincial and territorial curriculum just like the Catholic School Board is doing, just like our provincial school boards are doing. Canada Hindu Schools will also teach Sanatana Dharma to children from day one. They will start learning Sanskrit,
Wow.
and they will learn the Bhagavad Gita, they will learn the Ramayana, they'll learn our scriptures. And when these Canadian children come out of grade 12, they will be gold minted Canadian students, graduates, imbibing Sanatana Dharma values, ready to serve Canada and the Canadian communities.
That sounds like an amazing thing to accomplish. That would actually be very helpful in establishing a lot of things you both are saying to do. Speaking of those who are teaching Hinduism now, do you guys think that there is a possibility that non-Hindus are taking over these departments, and because of that they are portraying Hindu and Hinduism in a negative light?
We do not discriminate between Hindus and non-Hindus.
Okay.
For us, all of us are one.
Okay.
Nobody is a non-Hindu for us.
Okay.
So there's no question of teaching something to non-Hindus.
Okay.
But as I said, the interpretation has to be right.
Yes.
Be it being received by a Hindu or non-Hindu,
Mm-hmm.
the right interpretation must be delivered.
Okay. Okay, no, that's absolutely fair enough. I have to actually really kind of agree with you there.
I would like to add here one point that at the university and the school level, and when we are trying to build a curriculum which caters to the need of the Hindu community as such, I would say the concept of outsider and insider needs to be understood.
Okay.
An insider is somebody who understands, like Rambai said, who understands the tenets of Hinduism in the right, in the right spirit.
Mm-hmm.
However, anybody, I can have a Hindu name and I could, blast my own religion and culture.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make me a Hindu.
Right.
So that concept needs to be understood. We have fantastic writers in India and in the West as well,
Yeah.
who are, despite having a different religion, write so fantastic things about Hindu community and culture. Historically speaking, we can talk about Will Durant. He wrote about about India, and what a fantastic book he has written on India
Yeah.
and its culture. And then in today's date, we have Dr. Frawley, we have Professor Gautier, and many more professors who are in the West, who have been trying to address the Hindu culture in the right way, and they are trying to, even they are fighting their own battles
In their own way.
in their own way
Yeah.
for the Hindus. So it really doesn't matter who is sitting over there. What matters is what ideology he has towards the religion.
No,
I
go ahead.
just would
Yeah.
like to add one
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
We are using the term Hindu so often in this interview.
Yeah.
It becomes very important to understand that we are Sanatana Dharma. That's the name. Right,
Absolutely.
Gaurav bhai? Sanatana Dharma. The term means ancient faith.
Yes.
We've been there since the beginning of time.
The beginning.
For tens of thousands of years.
Yeah.
when the religion was established, there wasn't a boundary. When the religion was established, there was no other religion, there was no other faith.
Yeah.
So, we are steeped in thinking that there is no other. There is nothing called other. It's just one.
Yeah.
We are all one. No matter what faith, color, creed, origin you are, nationality you may think you are, we are one.
Yeah. So according to that then, do you guys think that we need more Hindu-based scholars who are indigenous to Hindu thoughts, teachings, philosophy, and scriptures to teach Hinduism?
A person that I have great love and respect for, located in the North Coast, in the West Coast, is Shri Jeffrey Armstrong.
Yeah, you just mentioned him. Right.
Mr. Jeffrey Armstrong. Is he indigenous? He's us.
Yeah, he's one of us, yes.
He's one of us. So you don't have to be born Hindu. He's a Hindu. He's a Hindu, more Sanatana Dharmic than anybody else.
Fair enough.
Anybody, as Gaurav Bhai said, has undergone rigorous training, has understood our Vedas, our Upanishads, and like Sri Jeffrey Armstrong, who has not only steeped himself in Advaita, he can also speak about Dvaita. He can speak about Sankhya.
Maybe better than I probably
We need people who know the religion inside out and who have some kind of an authority to speak about it. Not everybody that goes around saying, hey, I can deliver a lecture on Bhagavad Gita.
They don't have to be Hindus.
Correct.
No,
You
I
don't have to
absolutely
be.
love that ideology as well. Yeah.
You are, correct. Let me correct you. There's nothing called you don't have to be a Hindu. We are all one. We are all, if you ask me, it's one.
We are all one.
Right?
That is right.
Gaurav Bhai, you agree with this?
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
entire
Yeah.
philosophy?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's an absolutely beautiful philosophy to, I think, follow, and I feel like people should understand that
Correct. Thank you.
in terms of this conference, too, for that matter. But bringing things a bit closer to home, I know that University of Toronto is an active contributing sponsor to this conference. And we were speaking about this, that you tried to contact them. Have you had any luck whatsoever?
Yes, I wrote an email to the president of Toronto University, Mr. Gertler, and I received a response more than 7 days after I sent the email, and the response says, even though we acknowledge the impact that this conference is going to have, we agree with the fears that you have, we are still going to go ahead and sponsor this event because we have to allow critical dialogue. We promote critical dialogue, hence this sponsorship will not only go on, many members of our staff are actively participating in this conference. I have written back to them saying critical dialogue ends where my freedom begins. Critical dialogue becomes dangerous when it threatens my very existence. I have also engaged, I have given them another opportunity to convene their leadership and withdraw their support. But I would like to be forthright. We have already engaged law enforcement. The University of Toronto is our university.
Yeah.
It's in our society. We have a sense of belonging, and we still hope that sense will prevail on the authorities and they will withdraw their sponsorship in a timely manner. Else, we will take all the steps that are available to us constitutionally to put up an opposition to this. It is not just the University of Toronto, mark you. The McMaster University and York University and University of Toronto at Mississauga are all contributors to this conference. It is very alarming, it is very disappointing, and these institutions have let us down.
I think this is laughable actually. The reason
Okay.
this is laughable is that we would be commemorating the 20th anniversary of 9/11
That's
Twin Tower
correct.
attacks,
That's correct.
where over 2,900 lives were gone.
That's correct.
They were killed by religious fanatics, and we would be talking about dismantling Hindutva.
Correct.
Yep.
I don't know in what sanity would these people be when they would be talking about dismantling, destroying Hindutva.
Yeah.
So I think this hate conference against the Hindus show their hypocrisy, and it shows that they are two-faced. The way they have destroyed the First Nations in the US and Canada in the history, they are planning to do the same to this pagan culture which we have. I think this is that is the reason I would say that the University of Toronto, had this been some individuals talking about it, we would have just let it go. They do it all the time. It's not the first time. But the University of Toronto and other universities who are which are sponsoring this event, that is the troubling part.
Yeah.
Why are you using our money to sponsor
Yeah.
hate against ourselves?
Yeah.
Why should I pay the tax so that my children tomorrow goes to the university and learn to hate their own culture?
Yeah.
I have told the University of Toronto what Hindutva means to Hindus. I have told them that Hindutva is an inalienable part of a Hindu. You cannot have a Hindu without Hindutva. So how can you sponsor an event that dismantles Hindutva? I have also pointed them to an online survey which within a few days has gathered more than 38,000 signatures. If this is not a fathomable indication of the angst in the Hindu community,
Yeah.
how else can you measure? What scale do you need to measure the magnitude of the anger in the community?
Yeah. In that case, then, do you think that these kind of conferences, or even this conference in particular, is sowing the seeds of Hinduphobia and hatred against Hindus in Western community? And if so, how do you think Hindus should propose to fight or challenge these?
So, Gaurav Bhai, you want to go? Or then
I
maybe
think
I'll-
the straight answer to this is yes.
Yes.
Not all students who study at the universities are Hindus.
Yes.
Anybody who is learning Hinduism or Hindutva through this conference is going to have doubts and is going to have is going to question the belief systems of Hindus. So I think yes, definitely it sows, and in fact it's a grown tree now rather, of Hinduphobia and Hindu hatred. How are we going to protest about it? I think Hindu Forum Canada has already written to the universities, and Rambhai's association also has written to the universities. It is disheartening that they are still going ahead with the conference. We are going to have a protest at the King's Circle on September 2nd, and we are going, we will take it to the next level, and we'll as per the Constitution of Canada, whatever is available to us, we would utilize all those resources to persuade universities and register our protest against this hateful conference.
you asked a two-part question.
Yes.
First was, do you think this will impact Hinduism?
Do you think it will sow seeds of doubt against?
In Hinduism,
Yeah. Against Hinduism.
Sanatana Dharma has been since time immemorial. Nobody can do anything to Hinduism.
Okay.
We are here to stay. The Dharma will be here beyond the universe.
Okay.
So, will it do anything to sow seeds or impact Hinduism? No way. That's not my
Okay.
concern. Are we concerned that some hate mongers out there are conducting a conference.
Yes.
No, that is not a concern, because we believe that haters will be consumed by their own hate. They will go to peril. What concerns us is our institution sponsoring them. And as Gaurav Bhai said, I still hope the institution will pull back its support to the conference, but you will see concerted action from us on the ground. I want to highlight what Gaurav Bhai said. There will be a protest on the 2nd of September, less than 48 hours from now, at 27 King's College Circle in the heart of the University of Toronto in Toronto. There will be a concerted protest. Canadians will stand up against an attack on their faith. We are asking through the medium of this channel,
Yeah.
through your support. Thank you for having us
Absolutely.
here.
No, thank you for
All
being here.
all viewers that are Canadian, that believe that a Canadian's faith should not be attacked, should join us at this protest and stand side by side with us. Say no to Hindu phobia. Say no to Hindu hate in our own institutions.
Well, you heard it from the gentlemen themselves about the protest, and we will have the information up somewhere on our website as well. Are there any final thoughts you guys would like to share with our viewers? Something that I may have missed?
We are Canadians. Inclusion and diversity is our foundation. It runs in our blood. This conference flies in the face of those principles. As Canadians, it's our duty to stand up against such hate. Be it Hindu phobia or any faith phobia, we will fail if we do not stand together and oppose this. We cannot allow our own institutions to support this. Before I say my last word, I would like to emphasize the protest
Yes,
is
please.
on Thursday, 2nd September at 3 p.m. at 27 King's College Circle. It's been called by Hindu Forum Canada. It's been supported by many organizations. The following organizations have already given their support to Hindu Forum Canada and will stand beside them. It's Canada Hindu Schools, Canada Hindu Registry, Mokshadwar Hindu Cremation Services, and North American Hindu Association. We are looking forward to seeing you actively standing out there and supporting us on that day. Thank you.
My final thoughts on this would be, I urge the political class of this country to look at the concerns which the Hindu community faces right now in Canada. I know you are all busy in your elections, but I think there is something hateful going on in this Canadian society, and I would request you to to look into this issue as well. I also would like to request the civil society, and like Rambhai said, that anyone who thinks that hate should not be propagated, cannot be tolerated in this Canadian diverse and multicultural society, they should join us in our protest and join hands with us in our endeavor to fight against this hateful conference. Lastly, I would ask my Hindu brothers and sisters to stay strong. This is not the first conference. This won't be the last one. We have survived ages and we would survive ages. This hate would go on, but we would continue to follow our dharma. That's our dharma. We are Hindus. Let's show them what it means to be a Hindu. We are Hindus and we stay stronger.
That was beautifully put. Gauravji, Ramji, I want to thank you guys for joining me. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you
hearing
for
your
having
thoughts.
us. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you to our viewers at home for tuning in. This is Simoni Vani, and you're watching the International News Channel on TAG TV. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest news.